pastor how to be saved. From that moment, he became a protector of the Jewish believers. The light of God is the light of love. It's the light of forgiveness, but it's also the light of truth-bearing. I remember I was watching footage of a Nazi show trial where they were trying to intimidate those who were dissenting or those who were against Hitler, and to make them publicly confess that they were wrong and that Nazism and Hitler was right. And they came to the point of demanding the confession of the dissident, and they asked him to confess. And I remember watching, the man said, and they will never make this thing public. I mean, they never would back then. He said his answer was, "What I've done is right." In view of the fact, here he's surrounded at the point of death, not a Nazi tribunal. He says, in fact, in view of the fact that this regime consists of criminals who will be judged by history as such, I did what was right. And the whole court was unhinged. The judges were unhinged. They don't know what to do. It just took that. They said, no, stop. That little light of truth broke darkness. We were in Israel on the tour just a few weeks ago, and we do something that's rarely done on other tours, but it's so awesome to do. We didn't just go to the Western Wall, we went to the Eastern Wall. And when you go to the Eastern Wall, that's the back side, and that's the side that's facing the Mount of Olives. So on one side, you see the Mount of Olives where the Lord's coming, and the other side, you see the Golden Gate, the Eastern Gate where he's coming through. And that Golden Gate, that Eastern Gate, is shut up. It's been shut up by the Muslim authorities. It's literally sealed up with stones, and they say they did that to stop the Messiah from coming. And so we're there right at the Eastern Gate, a real symbol, right there at the Golden Gate. And at both sides of us are graves, Muslim graves. And they said it's said that they put those graves there to stop the Messiah from coming as well, because Jewish people or priestly people are not supposed to go near dead things. So we're there. I'm talking about prophecy and the return of the Lord. And then we begin singing the days of Elijah. And there's a dark figure on top of the Eastern Gate, a Muslim authority. And he begins to shout down at us, "Stop singing, stop singing." And we're looking like, why? I can't. He says, "You're disturbing the dead." I thought, wow, if we only had such power. But apparently he believes we do. The power, why should a little singing cause that reaction? Because the light is stronger than darkness. Why is there so much persecution of believers? It's a witness. In fact, it's a witness of the fact of the greatness of the power of light. Why is it that Jewish people are taught from infancy that the one thing you can't believe in that will make you not Jewish is to believe in the Jewish rabbi Yeshua? It bears witness of the power of Messiah. He must be so powerful. If he can make a Jewish person not Jewish, he must be the Messiah, because nobody can do that. The power of Messiah that begins in the darkness and then gets greater. And here it starts. He comes in the world, light in the darkness, but then again in Jerusalem comes the resurrection. And it's the same thing again out of the tomb, out of death, out of darkness. In the beginning was the light, comes the light of God. God says, "Let there be light." And from the empty tomb, from the tomb there comes the light of God. It's the power of light that always starts that way. Messiah is called in the New Testament, he's called the sunrise or the day spring, meaning the springing of day, the breaking of day, the dawn light that breaks the night. That comes from the Hebrew prophecies of Messiah, where Messiah is called, and you read it as the branch, which is what he is as well, the branch. The man shall be called the branch, Messiah, but in Hebrew the word is semach. And semach means the branch, but it also is translated into Greek as the day spring or the sunrise, because it also means the breaking, the springing forth. Like the springing forth of that first light that breaks the night, that comes over the horizon. That what it's saying is Messiah, he's the light of the world, but not only is the light of the world, he's the dawn light. He's the day spring light. So he's the light that first comes. He's the first light that breaks the darkness. That's the Messiah's light. And that grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's the light we have. We have the light. We don't just have the light in our lives. If you're born again, you've got the light that is the dayspring light that breaks darkness. That's the light that is the first light that lights up where it's only been dark and causes dawn to come. That light that goes against the grain, that goes against the situation, that goes against the night and transforms it and gets bigger and bigger. It starts out small, but gets bigger. What is that? What does that mean? It's that when you don't see any light around you in your situation, it's all dark, you've got the power to break that darkness by the power of the light of the dayspring of God. Where there's no love, you've got the power to put love into it instead of just reacting and getting miserable. You've got the power to light up that situation and give love to the person who has no love. When there's no hope, you've got the power, instead of being depressed about it, you've got the power to say, now it's time for that dayspring light, the dawn light. I can light that thing up with the light of the hope of God, that first light. You know, there's a missionary who went into new territory. And you may know the story. Tribesmen gathered around him, and they killed him, and they were cannibals and ate him. But he had taught his son to forgive. His son came back to the same tribesmen and found the ones who murdered his father and led them to the Lord and ended up baptizing his father's killers in the water. A child went into the office of the Soviet authorities carrying flowers, saying, here, this is for you. They asked, why? He said, you killed my parents, but my parents told me we must love our enemies, so this is a gift of my love. You know, the world lifts up people and calls them stars, superstars, celebrities, those who are pretty or attractive. They are the stars, but that's not what a star is. A star is the light that shines in the darkness. It doesn't need a spotlight on it because it doesn't require that. It's a star. It's so it shines in darkness, and you are to be the star. The true stars of this world, children of Abraham, whatever you're born as, born again, you have a role to play, and you don't need the light of the world of the world's light. You don't need a spotlight on you. You don't need attention. You don't need praise. That's cheap compared to what you have. You've got the light. You shine the light. You're the one who shines. You're the spotlight. In order to be a star, you have to stop looking at the vastness of the darkness around you. It doesn't matter. A star doesn't look at that. It just shines. Whether it's in America, whether it's in Nazi Germany or Soviet Union, it doesn't matter what the situation is. You don't curse, you shine. You know, the other night we were lighting up the Hanukkah menorah at